Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. Now, normally we do our lineup predictions and that video is still coming, but before we get to that Springbok versus All Blacks tour, we have decided why not see how different our lineup that we would go with is compared to the lineup that the All Blacks go with in their upcoming match up against the Springboks. But it is myself, it is my partner in crime, Rugbyitch. How you going, mate? You excited for this tour?
Yeah, very excited indeed. This could be really a test for the All Blacks, surprisingly, and for the first time in a while, they're actually not the favorites. The Springboks should be coming into this two-test series against the All Blacks as favorites, so it'll be very interesting to see who comes up on top.
Alrighty, so your All Black side, have you gone with a few wild cards in there just to spice it up a little bit?
I have indeed. Well, to start off, I haven't gone with George Bauer, who has been the number one normally for the All Blacks. I've actually gone with Ethan de Groot at number one there. He's just coming obviously into the All Black setup, and I thought, just put him straight into that, into that starting lineup, and he'll do the job. So he's my number one. For number two, I've gone with Samisoni Takalaho. So I've gone with another player ahead of kind of what they selected beforehand. So I've gone with him, and then at number three, I've gone with Tyrell Lomax. Because within that position, there's a lot of players who are injured or just not available. With the likes of, I think it's Opatungofasi and Nepalala who is injured, and then it's Angus Talbot who's suspended, I believe. So there's not a lot of options within that position.
Alrighty, so I have actually probably got quite similar to what the All Blacks may actually go with. I did go with Bauer as my number one, Cody Taylor as number two, and number three, I do have Nepalala because I didn't realize he did have an injury at the moment.
Yeah.
How serious of an injury are we talking?
Well, I saw that Nepalala may be injured because when they made the announcement, he was the replacement for Tyrell Lomax was the replacement for him. Then later on, we saw, I think, what was it, last week? We saw Opatungofasi obviously got reported that he was going to be out as well for the South African two tests there. So, and that's why Fletcher Newell has now come in for him as well.
I'll stick with him for now. Although saying that, he didn't go that great up against Ireland, but I'm going with a little bit of consistency with the way that I go with the side
I like that.
For these boys. But now the locks, for my preferred locks for the South African tour, I have gone Scott Barrett, number four. Of course, Brodie Retallick, he is out with his facial reconstruction that he needed. And then number five, I have gone with Sam Whitelock. I feel like that experience up against the Springboks is something you certainly need, definitely when you've got the likes of Eben Etzebeth looking at you from across a scrum or a line out.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Similar to you, I have also gone with Sam Whitelock, but he's actually at my number five position. But for number four, I've actually gone with Tupou Vaa'i. I believe he may get kind of a step up. I believe I think it was Jason Ryan, I believe, giving him a few words in some photos. I'm like, oh, that might be an inkling of what they might do. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to take that and put it into this video and go with Tupou Vaa'i to start for the first test against the Springboks.
Alrighty, so that will be a big contest on it. Him versus Etzebeth. Head-to-head, the young versus the experienced. That would be quite cool, actually, to be honest.
I love that.
Would be quite an awesome matchup to be able to see. Now, loose forwards. Of course, we're talking in an ideal scenario, not what the All Blacks will go with. So there could easily be some changes for what we have compared to what they're going to go with. So what is your loose forward trio looking like? And have you got Sam Cane as your number seven?
I would love to have him, of course, but if we're talking about from our perspective, what we believe should be the loose forward trio, I haven't gone with Sam Cane. I've gone with Akil Ione at number six. I just think he's the best number six that the All Blacks have at the moment. It was close, obviously, with Shana Brazil because he's now back in the All Black setup, but I just can't see him being put in kind of the in the frame within the starting lineup within the first game. I think he has to kind of get some minutes off the bench first before he gets that opportunity. But Akira at number six. I've gone with Dalton Papali'i at number seven, who I think a lot of people will agree with is probably the future seven for the All Blacks, and definitely someone who deserves to get more minutes in that position, in my opinion. And for number eight, I've gone with the tight end trustee with Artis Sevilla.
Right, so you mentioned about a lot of people would agree with you. Dalton Papali'i at number seven. Yeah. I am one of them. I've got him there, and also my other two identical to what you've gone with. So it's interesting that everyone in their ideal lineup doesn't have the captain.
It's surprising, isn't it? It's weird how the whole fan base knows exactly the loose forward trio, but the coaching staff just I don't know. They love this one guy. It's weird. It's very weird.
Right, backline. We're getting into the juicy stuff. I've made quite a few changes in the backline for what I would quite like to see. Now, some of these definitely will never happen, but I decided why not throw them in there anyway. This combination could happen, though. Number 9, Aaron Smith. Number 10, Richie Mo'unga. I feel Beauden Barrett, I think he'll have more of an impact off the bench up against the Springboks than in that starting lineup. And yes, there's a chance that from the past, Richie Mo'unga may not be able to go quite up to that level that he has throughout Super Rugby, but I think it's worth trying out because Beauden Barrett, he started all 3 of those matches up against Ireland. So I'd say Richie Mo'unga, give him a crack, and then have Beauden Barrett off the bench.
Well, I've gone with 2 completely different players to you within this position. So I've actually gone with Finley Christie at number 9. I believe they need to switch Aaron Smith. I know it's hard to say for a lot of maybe a lot of fans may disagree with me there, but it didn't work out really with Aaron Smith in terms of his passing. A lot of intercepts actually from the Irish players who got onto his passes, particularly within that third test. So I feel like maybe Finley Christie can kind of, just get some fresh legs in there and kind of see what it can do within that number 9 position. And I have stuck with Beauden Barrett. I believe he was actually very instrumental towards the All Blacks, particularly within that third test, just because you could see how much possession he had, and he actually was playing very well within that third test. And as a number 10, he was actually brilliant, but he just had no support. And within those supporting lines, there was no one to help him. So I believe, with the changes I've made within my team, I believe there'll be more support when he kind of finds those spaces and gaps through the Springbok defense. So I have stuck with Beauden Barrett in that position.
Also, blues and blues for your 9 and 10.
Indeed. So
a bit of chemistry there. I think we're going to see a few more blues players popping up in that back line. More than likely.
No. That's it.
Bye-bye, Rico. No. See you later.
No. We'll see. Maybe.
Right, next positions. We will go... You know what? We'll go with centres next. Who have you got as your 2 centres that you would go with up against the Springboks?
Well, you've caught me in a lie because I have added another Blues player. I do have Rieko Ioane at 13, but I have changed the 12, and I've gone back to Quinn Tupaia at number 12 because I believe he was really instrumental in the Blues' victory, particularly from that first test against the Irish. So I think a 12, a Tupaia-Rieko combination could work out pretty well for the All Blacks against the Springboks.
Okay. So, how I said I had thrown in some really crazy stuff? It may sound impossible.
Okay.
But number 12, Jordie Barrett, played a bit of 12 throughout Super Rugby.
Like that. Hey,
People
I love that.
Complaining that he's not doing too well at fullback.
Exactly.
And they want Will Jordan in there. Why not give Barrett a spot at number 12, get a bit of power going forward? Number 13. I haven't got Rieko Ioane. I might have gotten a bit carried away. I got a bit too excited, and I put Leicester Fainga'a-Nuku as my number 13.
That's a big call.
Big boys in the centres.
I like it, though. I like it.
Size.
we haven't heard of that combination before. So that, it's something different, which is good.
Thought I'd mix it up a little bit, see how it goes. But I think Jordie Barrett at 12, probably more likely than Leicester at 13. But a combination of Jordie Barrett and Rieko Ioane in the midfield would be an intriguing one, I think.
Yeah, that's something I want to see, for sure. Definitely something I want to see.
But now we move on to the outside backs. And for me, number 11, had to have him in there somewhere, Rieko Ioane. I've put him back out to that left wing side. I think he could cause some real problems for the Springboks because at the end of the day, they haven't got Colby. They haven't gone with Nkosi. They haven't got Apalele Fasi. He has been taken out of the side. Instead, more than likely, number 14, Jesse Creel could be the option they go with. So can Rieko on the outside have more of an impact than Leicester Fainga'a-Nuku? With that extra pace, I think there's half a chance. So that is why I decided to put Rieko Ioane out on that left wing. On my right wing, I have gone with Sevu Reece. Has played quite a bit on that right wing side throughout the season. And then number 15, I've given him the spot. It is Will Jordan. I have given the fullback jersey.
You had to.
For my All Blacks lineup. How about yourself? How different have you got? First of all, I know that you haven't got Rieko at 11.
No, I don't have Rieko at 11, unfortunately. But I do like the selection there, of course, because he was brilliant at 11, obviously, in the start of his All Blacks career. But for the 11 spot, I've actually brought in Caleb Clark back into the side. I believe he can bring something different towards this All Black side, obviously, and he's come back from injury, so I do believe he should be ready in time, obviously, for the first test against the Springboks. But for number 14, I've done something similar to you. I've taken Jordy Barrett out of his original position at 15 and shifted him to 14 because I still think you have to play him, you have to start him within the starting lineup, but I believe he can be more effective within that 14 position because the All Blacks have actually utilized him in the past in that position. I believe against the just far back, but against actually the British and Irish Lions, like back in 2017, I think it was. I always remember that game because he scored 2 tries against them in that particular game, and he was playing at 14. So I feel like a position maybe he could slot in with in the future. But like you said, I have to go with Will Jordan, number 15. That's his. That's like his position really. And I saw recently. What was it? Was it John Kerwin or was it? I saw on the breakdown someone said that we need more of a playmaking 15, and I believe Will Jordan is probably that type of player and is definitely the best in my opinion within New Zealand. So yeah, he's my 15.
Alrighty, we'll have to wait and see whether or not the All Blacks agree with you. Right, the bench going to be probably, I guess we've put most of our big players in the starting lineups, haven't we? So this is more of the case of who would we have alongside them as those replacements. Number 16, I've got Samisoni Takiaho. Number 17, Ethan de Groot. And then number 18, Tyrell Lomax. A couple of the guys who haven't really had too much of a crack for the All Blacks this year, so I thought start them a little bit lighter off the bench. So at the end of the day, for Ethan de Groot, the reason I've got him there at number 17 is if the Springboks go with what we think they will, you're going to have Vincent Koch coming off the bench, and that's going to be hard for any man to have to face off with. So Ethan de Groot normally pretty strong in scrums for Southland and the Highlanders. Tyrell Lomax, he's actually had a pretty impressive Bunnings NBC season for last year, which I think really helped develop him into the player that he was for the Hurricanes. Came a little bit more of a tight head prop kind of running game, I think he had.
Yeah, I was going to say, he had a lot more running meters throughout the last Super Rugby season.
So I wonder whether or not he'll try and utilize that alongside a bit of scrummaging, but they are the front row that I have gone with as my replacements if I was, of course, in charge.
I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, for myself, of course, I have gone with Cody Taylor on the bench, as I did have Samisoni Takiaho starting, of course. I had, similar to you, I had to go with George Bauer on the bench because I did Ethan de Groot at the start, and I have added Fletcher Newell as the number 18 in this place, and he's obviously been introduced to the All Blacks, I believe, for the first time ever, and I believe he's 22 years old, so a young prop, which is what we love to see. Kind of the next maybe duo, maybe if the future is de Groot and Newell, maybe that's the next duo. We'll have to wait and see if that's a possibility. But it's good to see that they found that kind of guy because they've always needed someone young within that position. So I like how they've kind of gone with Newell. A lot of people may be surprised with this just because I think Tamati Williams was probably the guy being looked at the most. But hey, I'm more than happy to have another player there kind of for a competition. So, I've gone with Fletcher Newell in that position.
Alrighty, so now we move on to the rest of the replacement forwards. Now, once again, it's in my brain. Have you got a Sam Cane hiding on the bench for this game, or is he missing completely?
He's missing completely. I've sacked him. Yeah.
See you later.
You're off. Yeah, no, unfortunately, I haven't gone with him. Well, for the number 19 position, I have gone with Scott Barrett. I just think he's a good player to come off the bench and obviously can cover 6 as well. And then for the number 20 position, I've gone with Hoskins Tutu. So he's just another player who I've only added only because he's an 8. And then Artis Sevilla can obviously shift to 7. And then Papali, if he has to, can go to 6 or come off if he just whatever has to. So, that's literally the only reason why that is a 2-2. I actually would have gone with, I don't know, I'm trying to think who was the other player I could have gone with there. I mean, there's Shana Brazil, but and then Sam Cane. So 2-2 was definitely my option. Scrap what I just said there. He was definitely my option.
So I have got 2 Chiefs players as my replacements. I've got Tupavai at number 19. And then at number 20, I have gone with Sam Cane. Reason being, if I was in charge, for me, this is his last tour to really show what he's got.
Really?
Because I know a lot of people are turning against him at the moment, Sam Cane. They're saying he's not quite as quick as he used to be. And I think up against the Springboks, it's kind of fight or flight for him. So if I was in charge, I'd have him off the bench, give him those last 20 minutes or so, and pretty much say, right, This is your crack, mate. Go out there,
Yeah.
show us what you can do, because or else we may have to find another option. Then we move on to the backs. I've got Folau Fakatava as my number 21. I felt like that was a decent option. I am sorry I haven't gone with Finley Christie, who is one of your guys.
Yeah.
You tell me.
It's really disappointing. My heart can't take that, man. Just can't take it.
It's all right. I've got a Blues guy here, though. Bowden Barrett is my number 22 and back player off the bench. And then number 23, I've got David Havili as my last name on there. So I didn't go with Roger Tuivasa-Sheck or Quintabaya. I felt like I had that many random position.
Yeah, covered already.
I really could put anyone there and it would be fine. I could have gone with the Bomb Squad 6-2 split, the way that I had the back line set up, but instead to go David Havili, since he's got that 12 cover, and also maybe fullback if they need to, for some reason, switch Will Jordan because someone else needs to switch because Rico goes to the centres and Leicester swaps and Geordie goes back. I don't know.
It's too many switching. Just too many switching.
It will probably break them. I'll be honest. It probably wouldn't work too well, but that's what I went with. Why not?
But yeah, no, for myself, I actually have different changes, obviously, to you. I've gone with Aaron Smith at number 21. I've gone with Richie Mwanga at number 22. So that's the combination, obviously, you went with the starts. But I actually have gone with Sever Reese as number 23. I just feel like you have to include him. I wanted to go with someone like, Brandon Enor, because he can cover 14 and maybe center as well. But I feel like you just can't leave Sever Reese out because he's just so instrumental towards the All Blacks. He's one of the few players I do believe, he's actually done well during the Ian Foster era. So, I it's just one of those where I had to include within the 23.
All righty. So quite a few changes between us there. So the big question is, how different will our lineups be to what they actually go with? I will mention that these lineups that we have done, they are all hypothetical. It is not what the All Blacks will be going with. If they did, I would be very surprised, and something would have changed drastically compared to what we saw for that Irish tour. But nonetheless, we will still be doing our lineup predictions when we are a little bit closer to the games. But thank you very much for coming on the channel once again, Rugbyitch. Hope you are ready to take the phone call, head to the All Blacks camp.
Oh, I'll do it. I'll take the job right now. If they offer it to me, I'll coach this team up, and I'll get them to the World Cup. I'll get them to the final, and then I'll make the Springboks win. That's what I'm going to do.
They're already there, aren't they? Which, I mean, successful,
Exactly. I've done my job. They're at the World Cup. My job's over. There you go. Scott Robinson can take over then. There you go.
There you go. Get him in as your assistant at least before England get him, eh? Nonetheless, I guess that is going to be the end of this video. Thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Check out Rugbyitch as well, and we will see you all for the next one.